An improbable journey for an Arkansas teacher leads her to new concepts that could go a long way in moving education forward here in our state and beyond. Tonight, our Craig O'Neill shares her story.
It's so inspiring to think about future educators that are going to come out of the same program.
Susanna Post drove from her home in Fort Smith to meet with me at UCA, but her journey was a lot longer than that. She graduates college, the family moves to Texas, yet somehow, despite her math and computer degrees, she couldn't get a teaching job in Texas. So she went to work in oil and gas as a senior petroleum analyst. In other words, money.
The Christmas bonuses were pretty incredible. Just that part of it.
But here was her problem.
You can go out into the business world and make big money. And I did. I was making money, but I was not making a difference.
That explains her move back home to Fort Smith, where she eventually becomes a math teacher at Bell Point Alternative School, where kids in Fort Smith go when kicked out of their regular school. It was just what she wanted.
Hoping that you are a small part in maybe changing the trajectory of their path in that moment. It's powerful. So what I'm thinking...
Bell Point's project-based learning deepened Susanna's empathy for her students.
And it was this beautiful marriage of the two, where I was getting to know my students through their project design.
But for Susanna, it went deeper.
It was going to places where my students were living life. And that meant going to their games.
And at an alternative school, it meant at times even going to the jail.
I went enough that one time they let me actually go to the back and sit down and have lunch with one of my students.
Through the empathy and the solidarity with students, she became what she calls a warm demander.
I have found that students are so drawn to warmth and high expectations from a teacher.
Arkansas took notice. Susanna is the 2021-22 Teacher of the Year. Over the last year, she has traveled the state, sharing a concept she hit upon while at teacher development, the empathy gap.
So we have to build relationships. We have to know their stories.
Miss Post was trying to play basketball again.
That by developing empathy first, educators have a better chance of closing opportunity and achievement gaps.
We have to know each kid.
As State Teacher of the Year, Susanna got to visit places like Space Camp. And she bonded with other State Teachers of the Year, and in the process learned another valuable lesson.
This community approach to education is the only way that we really are going to address the gaps that we've got to with these kids.
At the teacher's visit to the White House and hearing a speech by First Lady Dr. Jill Biden, she is given a gift bag with a bell, symbolic of the First Lady's early beginning in education when she got to ring the bell for her teacher grandmother.
And she connected that not only to her inspiration to be an educator, but to our efforts during the pandemic.
Attached to the bell, a message.
She says, "Never stop ringing your bell. Never forget that the lives you change go on to change the world. Student by student, you perform miracles every day."
The perfect message for a gentle demander.
This story is now added to our growing gallery of bright ideas involving Arkansas education on THV11.com. If you know of a teacher you think we should highlight, we would love to hear from you. Send us their story to 501-376-1111.